Hi, I'm Bailey. This is Bailey Talks, where I talk, you listen, and hopefully we both learn something along the way. No scripts, no filters, just unique conversations. Let's see where we end up.
Hello, everyone. Bailey Talks. Welcome to the podcast. My good friend, where is she? She's hiding. Lily Benson, owner of Benson and Co. Barbers. I've got to look over there because she keeps fucking pulling me up because I say it wrong. Lil, how are you today, mate?
I'm good, Dom.
What are we doing today, mate?
We're cutting your hair
We're
and
cutting my
talking
hair.
some shit.
Yeah, we are. So basically the plan today, guys, we're just going to have a bit of a yarn, talk a little bit about Lily's story, getting into barbering, her arts and crafts, what she loves about her work, and small talk, of course, because we both love a bit of small talk. So stay tuned, guys.
Okay.
All right, Lil, sorry about my hair.
You should be.
What I'm thinking today, actually, you know what? Let me ask you a question first. How are you today, firstly?
I'm delightful.
How are you going? How was your weekend?
It was actually really, I did sweet
Nothing?
nothing.
Fam time? Got a little daughter, fam time?
Nah, she's with her dad.
It's with dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Boyfriend time.
He's in Cairns.
He's in me time.
In me
You
time.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's nice.
Lil, tell me, before I start asking questions about my head, how did you get into barbering? When did you first start your mission of barbering?
Well, I've actually only been barbering for, how old's Olive? 7.5 years.
Okay.
But I started off as a hairdresser. So after I had Olive, I went back to work when she was like 9 weeks old.
Yeah.
And I just got my first job barbering. But when I was hairdressing, I preferred cutting. And I fucking hated hairdressing. It just took so long to like do
Things.
anything. But I loved hair, but I hated
The process, the length, the duration.
talking to someone that you have nothing in common with for 6 hours every 3 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks is like, I'd rather have bamboo.
And I guess with girls' hair too, it's hard because it's a longer process. So it's like the foils, the cuts, the dry, the blow dry. I wouldn't even know, but I imagine
absolutely.
it would be like
Yeah,
a bit of a nightmare.
it's painful.
Whereas barbering, I guess, blokes show a little bit more carefree. I guess you can fuck their hair up and it's not too bad, or...
I wouldn't go that far. I cut someone's ear once.
Did you?
Yeah, I took the wedge out of their ear.
What was that like? Was that here?
No, God, no. It was when I was an apprentice.
Yeah, right.
But I was like doing an overcomb cut like this and I went bang on his ear and it was so fucking awful. And then I gave him vouchers for 2 more free haircuts. He kept coming back to me. I was cutting his hair for like 3 years.
Oh my God.
However, that was all we had to talk about.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, you're back again.
There you going.
Ears bleed a lot too, by the way.
Now, Lil, what do we... Yeah, don't cut ears. You can cut my ears, though. Now, today, what I'm thinking is just a bit of a low taper, and I'm going to keep a little bit of length in the front and back. How do you... When people come in with requests, right, you get the photos, you get people describing what they want. At what point do you need to give your own advice for a cut? Because I feel like it's part of your job. That's to sort of work with the canvas you've got, right? Unfortunately, this canvas, you don't have a whole lot to work with, you know?
Well, you do. You got plenty to work with. You're also really sweaty. I'm going to put the aircon on.
Yeah, listen, guys, I get when I get nervous, I get hot. Okay?
Oh no, it's those capes. It's
true.
the capes. Yeah.
True.
Consultations. Well,
Yeah, what's your play there?
well, during our trade in TAFE, we learn about like what's flattering hair types.
Interesting.
You don't actually learn a lot about like problem solving. That sort of comes with. So like if
Doing
you
it,
have like a receding hairline, balding, cowlick, stubble crowns, all that type of shit. That just comes from experience. So that's why a lot of people don't want to hire fast-tracked barbers. They want the experience of an apprentice.
Of course.
But usually, like if someone comes in with a photo of Brad Pitt.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
And
You get some unrealistic things like...
it's not even the Brad Pitt thing. They come in with a photo of Brad Pitt and they got hair like yours.
Yeah. And you're like, I just want to look like this.
Yeah, it's like you block the face out and you're like, do you actually want that haircut? Because your hair is nothing like...
I reckon I've done that in the past. I've got that with just unrealistic photos going, do you reckon you can make me look like this?
Prime example, I had a guy come in here who was going to a Rod Stewart concert.
Yep.
And he brought in a photo of Rod Stewart in the 70s with the most atrocious, dead straight, spiky mullet, like the Labyrinth style.
Yeah.
And he was like, I want that. He had hair down to here that was like pube curly. And I was like, bruh, you could not look any more different.
This is not possible.
Literally not possible. But he insisted, and it was probably the worst haircut I've ever
done. And I guess for someone like me, right, I've quite a receding hairline. Sometimes a bit self-conscious about it. Do you get many guys in here who are self-conscious about their hair?
I think so, but you just got to address it like it's nothing, because it is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just hair.
Yeah.
You know, if you sort of go, oh, yeah.
Very dull. Oh, it's a reaction.
That's not
a reaction.
What you do. I think if they're trying to hang on to it a little bit, you just got to be honest.
Yeah, I love that. I actually love your approach. I think that actually makes me feel better, because I think that's what
you try and like slow it down as much as possible, but like it comes to a point where you're just like, needs to go.
Yeah. And I know.
So much better without it.
And fortunately, and these fingers are crossed, I'm still hanging in there. Still got enough hair.
I was left on those tires.
But listen, the tires, there's a bit going on. So anyway, let's get into the cut. We're going to keep moving with a few questions. Stay tuned, guys. Cut. Well, you're made for this.
Oh, thanks, Del. I can see how it was cut before, how it kind of wrapped around your ear a bit more.
Yeah.
Do a sideburn.
What do you think?
I can just do a taper.
Yeah, I think so.
But because it was wrapped around, you almost got like a little bit of...
Well, I used to run a bit of a burst fade for a little bit there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I reckon run with the burst thing, but because it was like wrapped around like this, it's a little bit longer through the middle. So I'll even that up so then it's a nice even mull, but you don't lose any length, if that makes sense. God, your hair's curlier than I remember.
It is.
Do you want to go down to skin?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, Lil, please. Thank you. Lil, I want to ask first and foremost a couple of questions. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I want to ask you about the business.
Yeah.
Going out your own.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you? Because I think for anyone, that's pretty scary. Obviously, you've been doing like an amazing job over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Where were you at in your life when you decided to take that leap?
I was 21.
Wow.
My ex-partner and I had only been together for 3.5 months.
Yep.
I had a 2-year-old daughter.
Yep.
And I bought it from my old boss, who was hard work.
Yep.
And I literally had 2 days to decide if I wanted to buy it or not.
Yep.
And basically, I got completely ripped off, and I had no idea. And you know, it was pretty scary. And like as I said, my ex and I had just gotten together.
Yeah.
And basically, she supported me through the whole thing blindly. Took on a child and a business. I was paying myself $300 a week for like 6 months. It was
God. Did you know, I guess...
600 or 300?
300.
Yeah, 300. Yeah, for 6 months.
Did you know what you were getting yourself into? Was this something that obviously looking back now, if you had time again, is it something that you wouldn't have it any other way, or you would have held off?
I would have gotten a solicitor.
Yeah. Legal always helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I had... ran the businesses that she had for a couple of years. So I knew sort of the foundation aspect of things. But then in saying that too, she always made me feel like I could run her businesses really well, but I was incapable of running my own. It was a really weird psychological side of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And at first I just sort of took it on and stuck to what I knew and did what she was doing. But then I eventually just sort of chopped and changed it to be how I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So I opened up in New Lambton in June of 2019.
Yeah.
I was there for 6 months, outgrew that space, waited until the lease was up.
Yeah.
Found this place in August 2020
and
it was still under construction at the time. It was like divine intervention. It was during COVID.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
2020 would have been an interesting time.
Yeah, well, I was only in business without being in COVID for 6 months.
Yeah, wow.
So that was like super weird. And then, moved into this space in December of 2020. So been in business for almost 5.5 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest, you've just listed a couple of big challenges, but what have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced over the last 5 years within the business itself?
I think in terms of running a business, I think any business owner will say staff.
Yep. Yeah.
is the hardest thing in terms of running a business.
Yeah.
I think in terms of just life in general,
Yeah.
I find it really hard to draw the line.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
between
between
friends and work.
Exactly. Like
That's so hard to do, though.
It is.
How do you do that?
Guilt. I don't fuck.
What's your opinion on it? Because I think now, like, when you get into business with friends, or when you mix, what's the saying? When you mix work with pleasure.
Don't mix business with pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah. You can stuff things up. I think relationships can burn. How do you navigate through that? Like, what do you think is the solution there? What's the answer?
I've been really lucky because with this job, I've got like a client for anything. And for some reason, people just want to help you out when you chat to them all the time.
Yeah, okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say I've mixed business with pleasure. That sounds a bit naughty, but
It does. No doubt there's been opportunity, but...
That's a chat for another day.
Yeah, exactly.
But I definitely, I don't know, I think just between being like my ex and I separated, trying to find balance between work and being a single mum, and then you know, just even in your own personal life, it's just really hard because you just don't know where to draw the line because you want it to be successful, but you're not just, when you have a business, you're not just motivating, like, you're not just trying to motivate yourself, you're trying to motivate other people, and you're responsible for other people. So like I get paid last. You know, do all of those things last. And
sometimes it's hard to find that motivation. Like, do you feel like...
Oh, fucking oath.
Do you feel like sometimes you need other people around you to give you that motivation? Like, I find sometimes with the podcast and that, like...
Absolutely. And
you need people to bounce things off, you know? Like...
Yeah, for sure. And like my staff have even pulled me up on not being motivated enough, which is great. And anyone who says that they love what they do 100% of the time
is lying.
Is full of shit, especially if they own their own business. Like this, talking to people all day, being so emotionally invested in your regular clients' lives, and then 100%. Being invested in yours.
It's draining.
Wear you the fuck out.
That's a great point, because I look at myself as an optometrist.
Which is so random, by the way.
Which is very random.
What the fuck?
Anyone I tell is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's so right.
But I feel like I can resonate with you on that, in a sense of, it's almost, sometimes you're not even, you forget you're working, you're almost at therapy, and it's like you're hearing people's problems. Like sometimes I'll say to people like, oh, what brings you in today? Or like, what can we help you with today? And it'll be something. Yeah, well, you get that, but then you also get, oh, you know, such and such has happened, or, you know, my partner's left me, my kids this, my kids that. You get 20 minutes in, you haven't even tested their eyes, and you're like, we should probably do something. But like, it becomes, you're right, it becomes almost like you're in this position where you're having to invest into other people. It gets very emotionally draining, especially in somewhere like here, like you said. Like you would get to the end of your weeks and be like, mate, I don't want to talk to someone for another week. Like, I need some time out.
100%. I think... Absolutely, a lot of our clients confide in us.
Yeah.
But then again, my clients are just as much my therapist as what I am theirs. But you know, it's not just like, oh yeah, how's your day? How's work?
Yeah.
I've had clients come in and say that their wife had a stillborn.
Yeah, wow.
Their dad's dying, that their brother's got cancer, that their, you know, sister's done this, they're about to get married, they're about to propose, and this is their haircut. And you know, so for some of the most amazing and some of the most tragic moments of their life.
Yeah, such a great way to look at it.
Yeah, and it's such a privilege to watch people go through it. I've got clients who have never had a haircut by anybody else, like who have come to me since they were literally 1 year old, which, by the way, if you bring your kid in here, I'm going to kick them the fuck out. Like I've had a real mix of like everything. So yeah, it's not just me being a therapist, it's them being a therapist to me. Like, they've watched my daughter grow up.
Yeah.
They've watched me be married and divorced.
Yeah.
Like, some of my clients even came to my wedding. They've watched me go through shit with my family. They've watched me go through so many different chapters and eras of my life. But it's reciprocated. It's not just me therapizing them.
Yeah. What are like some of the biggest things you've learned about yourself over, just from a business aspect? What are some of the big things you've learned about yourself in terms of owning the business, being a leader in the store, working with, you know, friends, staff, all that sort of stuff? What have you learned?
I think boundaries are really important. I think when, like, if you see someone, like we have clients as regularly as every 5 days.
Yeah.
I think when you see someone that regularly, they can kind of forget that they're your clients.
Yeah.
You have a rapport with them.
Yeah.
But I think boundaries is really important, and boundaries within your staff is really important too. However, I'm just as guilty as that as the next person.
True.
I think having a business has taught me like a different kind of resilience, going into it so blindly, having no idea what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
And then like if we go through a private period, which doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah.
But going through periods of doubt, like I went, finding staff is impossible. And there was a period last year where I nearly lost the shop because I just could not get staff. And I was working, like when I didn't have Olive, I was doing bar work just to make ends meet. So that was like, it just teaches you resilience. Yeah.
100% when you get knocked down.
It's important.
Yeah.
Well.
And just not giving up.
Yeah.
And I think, it's really testing for you. But ultimately looking back now, no doubt you're bigger, better, stronger for it. And it makes you who you are, and, all your scars and the difficult times, like you said, makes you more resilient. So it's like the saying is something like, when you're out at sea in your raft, you just got to keep building on your raft, until you can weather any storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I was a kid going to work with my dad and he was a builder, and we would just get plaster and a trowel over pieces of like gyprock and shit. And it was the best time ever. And Olive comes in here and sweeps up the floor. And I've also come to realize that her being in here is a memory for her. Like it's part of her growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is so cool. And her dad's a concreter and has his own business too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's as fun to go to if she has to.
But like you said, it's different memories for her. Like she gets to have those growing up and be able to reflect on that when she gets older. And
yeah, exactly.
What's it been like being a mum? Like what's that whole process been like for you?
I think between this and having a child when you've got no support here, like I'm not from Newcastle. I've got no family here at all. After I met like my partner, my current partner, my ex-wife was still in my life and supporting me. We had a great separation or whatever. So, and that was because I didn't have anyone here. So having the guilt of feeling so far away from everyone that you know is really hard. B, sacrificing time with her to do this is also guilty. Like guilt is real. But then on top of that, feeling like I'm not in here enough and people just think I'm having a free ride. Yeah,
it's hard to juggle, hey?
Yeah, it's really hard. And then you get to the end of the day, you've got no energy to do anything because you've just been talking smack with like 100 people a day.
Jay, you could probably resonate with that, with your work, like, because you work fucking really hard. You got 2 little ones, and do you ever feel the same? Like, do you ever get guilty, or do you ever feel like you should be doing more?
You don't have anything left to give your kids at the end of a massive day. Yeah. And it's awful. Like you're doing it for them, but then you blink, and I look at my kid when she's sleeping, and I might get emotional, but I look at her when she's sleeping, and I'm just like, holy fuck, like, are you growing in real time in front of me? Like, are your bones actually expanding?
Yeah.
Because she's so bloody tall.
She's beautiful. Your girl's beautiful.
She's so cute.
She's gorgeous.
But I've just got no idea where the time's gone. And how she's just so smart. And she's all the things that I'm not. And I don't, seriously, she's patient. She's like calm.
Hey, come on, you're patient.
I don't know, ask Nick. But like she's patient and she's calm and sensitive and just beautiful. And I have no idea where the fuck she got that from, because it's not from her dad. It's not from me, but somehow we do a really good job. So
hey, well, listen, biology, that's what we can thank, Because the chromosomes. But how's Mick been with all? Because Mick's a good man. I've met Mick once or twice.
Are you saying Nick or Nick?
Nick.
Okay, I thought you said Mick.
Nick.
Right, are you sure?
No, Nick's Nick. Nick's a good man.
He is. He's beautiful.
How's he been with it all?
He's been amazing. He's got 2 kids, so trying to juggle that when his kids are up there and we're down here and all the rest of it has been a bit of a challenge. But I think I remember when I met him and he told me that he had 2 kids, and I was like, oh, thank fuck, because I just didn't have to explain anything. I didn't have to, like...
It's interesting how, I guess it is one of those things. It's not baggage, but it's like...
Oh, it's baggage. Kids are baggage. It's not bad baggage.
No, of course not.
Come with so much responsibility.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? It's tough because when going into a new relationship, it's like, it's a big factor in it all. So
yeah, and kids, like, I said to Nick, the second that I feel like more of a priority than your own children, I'm out. Because I would never want to choose Olive over him, you know, and or have him expect me to do that either.
That's a very deep point.
I know.
Like it's a heavy hitter, but it's like I respect that.
Yeah, and I think too when your kids are similar ages, you just you just know what children need, and hard to raise balanced children at the best of times, but let alone when you are in a long distance relationship. But he co-parents amazingly with his ex-partner, and she's great. I've hung out with her one-on-one several times now.
Yeah, wow.
And like he's got a lot of time for Ollie's dad, and he's just slotted into my life pretty seamlessly considering how much responsibility I've got. Like sacrificed so much to be with me. He's had a career change. He's moved away from his kids for a new job. He's just very much shown up for me, and he shows up for Olive too, which is like
that's
crazy.
Beautiful. Shout out to Nick. Love you, Nick.
Love you, Nick.
Let's talk about I
was going to say something so inappropriate, but I won't.
Oh, really? We'll hold that for later. Right? That's for the X-rated OnlyFans Bailey Talks. Coming soon. No, it's not coming soon.
I was like, how do you know?
No. Let's talk about the client experience. A couple of questions with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get new customers coming in here, people you've never met before, building rapport with them. What are some of your tips and tricks to building rapport? And I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's different. You get people who are weird, people who don't want to talk, people who overshare, undershare. Like, how do you go about that for you? What's your play?
I remember when Jack started working here, and the first thing he ever said was like, holy shit, your clients are legends. And I was like, yeah, because I can't deal with being any different. Like clients will walk in here and I'll be waxing my mustache.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, 1 sec, and like waxing my monobrow. I'm shameless and I don't care. And I think you just got to be yourself. Like it's hard being in here every day when you're tired and going home and feeling drained, let alone going home and feeling drained and pretending to be someone that you're not.
True.
I think a lot of our clients.
I was going to say, do you think that reflects the people that you sort of get in here?
Oh, 100%. I love my clients.
Yeah.
And as I said, they would do anything for me, and like vice versa, and all of my other staff as well. Like Jack is the most unhinged rogue dude I've ever met in my life. I remember when he started working here, I was like, all right, I can be inappropriate.
Yeah.
But what the fuck?
This is a new level. This is a new level.
Yeah, and in 6 months, not even 6 months, probably 4 months, his books were back-to-back solid.
Cool.
Like I would not believe. And you can hear his bellowing laugh from the commie. Like he's just the best.
Yeah.
And I think we all have something different to offer, but I just don't bullshit. Like
what about your relationship with Britt? Because
oh my god,
Britt is like obviously you are quite close.
Yeah.
How has that been having Britt in here with you, working with Britt, but then also having a relationship outside of work?
Well, Britt and I actually got to know each other for like 2 years before she started working for me. There was like talks of her working for me before I even moved into this location.
Yeah.
And I remember she's very heavily tattooed, for those who don't.
Yeah.
6'1", like she's a fucking big
She's
bitch.
a beast.
Yeah.
She's a big bitch, yeah.
Amazonian.
Yeah. But she's like the quietest, nicest person.
That's what I was about
That's
to
what
say.
I've seen from her. Like,
I remember meeting her and being like, she's going to be like sort of a bit rougher.
Yeah.
She's just like sunshine on legs.
Yeah, she's such a beautiful person, yeah.
She is the most beautiful person. And just like she started working here, I think like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And just over time, 3 years ago, nearly 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And over time, we just started to get closer and closer. We had so much in common.
Yeah.
We both had like the same morals. We both felt the same about hair.
Yeah.
She's honestly the best friend that I've ever had. And it just came from a really organic place. And I spend more time with the people that I work with than what I do with a kid.
Yeah.
Sad.
But it's a good way to look at it though.
But it's true. And like even yesterday, we worked together all week, and yesterday we went out for breakfast together, and then I messaged her like, "Do you want to go to the driving range?" And we went and whacked balls for half an hour, like, or maybe an hour.
So yeah.
So we just love spending time together. I went on my first overseas trip with Brit.
Yeah.
Like Brit's helped me through breakups. I've helped her through breakups. Like,
That's what best friends are for, right?
Yeah, but she calls me out on my shit too.
As well.
Yeah, she's not an enabler. She is very
How does she go about that? Like, if she's going to pull you up on something, is she like, "Oh, Lil, let's have a chat about something," or is she like
sort of
on the spot? She's calling you out.
She's very like gentle with her approach. I think people think that because I'm so extroverted and borderline obnoxious, they think that I would be defensive. I really appreciate the fact that she does that. Whenever she says something, I'm like, "You're right." Because she doesn't say shit for no reason. Whereas like if I call her out on things, I'm an opinionated little fuck. And I try so hard to keep my opinions to myself. But I find that really hard. But
that's really interesting.
I've honestly, but it comes from obviously a good place. Like I have looked at friends in the eye and said, "You look like a fucking idiot. What are you doing?" Because I would want that back. If I'm in that situation.
That's probably how you work so well. Maybe it's like that ability to recognize how you are different in that aspect.
Yeah, she's way more like gentle and soft than I am, but she, like not soft in terms of like a pushover, but just soft in her approach. And like, for instance, her clients are great. But I don't think they could handle me. They're just different types of like men, and that's just who she attracts. And when Brit's not in the room, not a single person has one bad thing to say. Adore her.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
What have you had any like in terms of, because obviously we're talking about the Brad Pitt, the requests, the people coming in with like, "Can you get this done?" It's like, Have you had any standout weird requests or anything, like any really memorable moments that you're like was just a spin out for you in the last couple of years?
Rod Stewart was pretty fucking weird.
That's a good one.
That was, I think I just burped into the microphone.
It's okay. Just blow up my face after that. Blow up my face.
Nah,
I don't know what you had for brekkie.
I just had nuggies. All right.
Oh, perfect. Sweet and sour.
That was pretty strange.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Anything else? Any standout? Or you know what? Any highlights? Any memorable moments where you're like, something happened, or it could be anything.
Like a low light is when everybody was asking for like Peaky Blinders.
Oh shit!
That was absolutely
like full like undercuts in that, eh? Is that what they were?
Fucking disgusting bowl cuts. And guys, it looks fucking bad. And I'm like, no, it looks fucking shit.
How long did that trend for?
Well, there was 2 seasons.
Oh, true.
It trended for a while, and then everyone binge watched it, and it didn't happen for a while. And then
what a series, but man, Tommy Shelby, Arthur Shelby.
I've never even watched it because I fucking hated the hair.
It is a great series.
I'm trying to think. We had a guy come in here, no shit, with his hair past the cracks of his ass.
Oh my god!
And I've never seen anything like it. It actually was a lot.
That is fucking long.
I've cut off a few mullets that have been growing for a really long time, and I didn't realize, and I just like cut them off. They asked for it. But even for instance, when I get done, like I'm really emotionally, obviously physically attached to my hair, but like I'm emotionally attached to my hair. So I mean, I'm trying to think of something significant. I've shaved a lot of clients' hair who are about to go through chemo. It's really memorable and really emotional.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
What do you see that often? Is that something you see quite often? Obviously it's for cancer awareness, but is that a particular month or is it just
Well, I shaved my head for World's Greatest Shave.
Yeah.
I did that when I was 14. It's in March.
It's in March, okay.
But in terms of actual clients having cancer, to shave their hair.
Of course.
Yeah, so you're a part of like massive milestones in people's lives, which is pretty full on, but that's always really hard.
That is a hard one.
Yeah.
Do you ever get emotional? Like, is it something that sometimes it can be quite emotional?
I cry all the fucking time.
Drop of a hat. Drop of a hat.
I cry. I'm a mum.
Yeah.
All the time. I think I cried when I'm going to get emotional again. One of my really good friends told me that it was so funny. I said to him, he gets his hair cut every 2 weeks. And I was like, Matt, you got to tell me when you're going to propose. You promise me. He was like, all right. And he had been with his missus for like 6 years. And I didn't think it was ever going to happen. The next haircut he came in, he told me he was proposing and I cried like a little bitch. And it was about, they're due to have their baby in a few weeks. And when he told me that she was pregnant, I cried. That was pretty amazing.
That's beautiful.
I think in terms of, I actually cut this particular client this morning. He told me that he lost his baby. Like his wife had a stillborn. And that was really hard. Like moments like that are really hard. And that just, as a mum and a woman and a barber, and your relationships with these people, it's just, it's very emotional. And I have no issue crying.
No. And no doubt that's good for everyone, because I think being vulnerable is a big part of, being aware of who you are and being more conscious of your feelings. I think too, not a lot of men have women in their life that are in their circle but are also removed from their life. Like it's not. I'll be honest. It is not something that I'm familiar with, and I have a lot of friends who.
Any girl in your life that Samara wouldn't be involved with.
Yeah,
that you can confide in.
That's right. That's right.
And I think in terms of having, I wouldn't even say advice.
Yeah.
My advice. But in terms of just having like a female point of view, or just listening ear of a chick is very different to just being around like your bros.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, even if like I had a client who was telling me that he almost had like an affair with a chick when he cheated on his wife, and I was very unbiased about it, but I was what the fuck? Like they come to you with literally any problem that they've ever had, and that's great.
Right, it's a different point of view. It's
a very unique relationship. Yeah. This is really loud.
That's okay.
There you go.
What about with the industry, with barbering over the last 5 years? Like, what have you noticed, like any big changes? Like, where do you see the direction of barbering? Have you noticed anything in particular? Or is that
It was a massive eyebrow raise, and I haven't had Botox in like a year. I think.
Let's zoom in on those fucking wrinkles, eh?
So I was like.
What have you noticed since you started to now?
When I started hairdressing, it was 2015, and I used to walk past this sick barber shop every morning. And I loved that joint. I wanted to work there so bad, and it was when barbering was starting to take off, because barbering was a dying trade for a long time. And I just thought that joint was sick. And back then it was starting to come back into its own. And then it just went through this really gross, like pretentious, like dick comparing in industry, where it was very like misogynistic. I have a lot of, well, not clients, but like I know a lot of people to this day, they're like, you're a cool chick, Lily, but I'd never let a girl cut my hair. And I'm like, do you give a fuck? Like, anyway.
It's an interesting comment, hey, because like my take on that would be, I just want someone who just cares. And you know, like I don't think gender should play a role in like who you go and see, but I would be more like, I just want to see someone who actually gives a shit, you know? Because to be honest, there's a lot of guys out there, and I had haircuts from blokes who I don't think really give a fuck about. I mean, I've had some atrocious cuts, and I'll be sitting there going, just a little bit off the top, thanks. And they're sitting there with their thing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the car, looking in the mirror going, shit. This is not good.
Yeah, that's pretty common. And I think, you know, for decades, people were paying like $25 for a haircut.
True.
And then during COVID,
Costs, boom.
and we work our fucking asses off.
Yeah.
As I said, it's not just working. We're on our feet. We do huge hours.
Yeah.
And people never really valued a haircut.
Yeah.
I don't think they accepted the fact that a lot of skill and a lot of training goes into it to do these modern styles and to actually run a successful business and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And now people are like, the prices have gone up because the value, the quality, the experience, everything has gone up. I think a lot of people are getting the shits with that, but like, I think we're just catching up.
Yeah.
To what we should be worth, what we should have been charging this whole time.
Yeah. Which is good, right?
I mean, I think so.
It's good for you guys because
I think so.
At the end of the day, it's like anything in life. It's like my theory is you pay for what you get. So it's like if you're going to invest in yourself and pay more money for a product or a treatment, and you're going to get good quality treatment, then it's worth every cent, right?
Yeah, and I just think that's sort of how things have changed over the years. It's like, don't get me wrong, some shops are still very wanky.
Yeah.
But that's everywhere, in every sense, in every industry. But
true.
I think the value is way more appreciated.
Yeah.
I think there's way more of a sense of connection these days than what there was. I think there's a lot more, like, I talk to clients who are like telling me they want to kill themselves. Like, it's just like a haircut.
Yeah. Especially with like a small business in Newcastle, you know, like, I guess it's different too. Like, my first memories of barbering, like getting cuts growing up, was like literally Culture Kings, like going to Brisbane, like going on trips away and being a mum, being like, oh my God, like I have to get to Culture Kings for like a fresh fade, like, and I'll just get like this high skin fade that just looked cooked, but I get like a
fizzing out.
And I'd be like, oh my God, I've just been in Culture Kings, like I'm just.
That's how I feel after I wax my own eyebrows.
Yeah. It's like, I've just been in Culture Kings and got a cut. Like, my week's good from here. Like, I don't need to do anything else from now. Like, that's literally my earliest memories of cuts is like Culture Kings.
Well, I'm one of 4 girls, so I never understood how often boys needed their
True.
It was just never on my radar.
Yeah.
So when I started seeing people so regularly, I was like, oh, I only got my haircut once a year when I was.
Hang on, I saw you not long ago.
This is new. This is interesting.
I saw you a few weeks ago.
Yeah, legit.
Because I know Pool and Coffer, are they still coming here a bit?
Yeah, they go to Brit.
Yeah.
So Pooley's in every week. I think Coff was in last week.
They're in every week.
Oh, mate. Pooley, if you're watching this, I love you.
He came in the other day and he was like,
have you ever seen him with
he reckons, I've grown my hair out a bit. I haven't had a cut in a few days. And it was like, it just looked the exact same as it normally has. I said, mate, your hair looks the exact same.
He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe.
But he's fresh.
Is he OCD though? Like, is that? Like, should he grow his hair out or?
Oh, no. I think Paulie with any hair longer than a number 1 on top will look fucking weird.
Do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely.
That's so funny.
I think Ashron would be like, who the fuck is that? Yeah. What have I done with my trimmers? There we go.
It's okay. They've grown legs and run away.
Yeah. I'm just tinkering around at this point.
No, that's good. No, that's good. No, because I've got to run in 10 minutes anyway.
All right, there you go.
So that's good. Suits me. What else can I ask you? Pretty much, I've covered fucking a lot of this. Skills, techniques. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Jay's happy?
I feel like I repeated myself like 500
times. No, I think this is the most raw conversation I've had to date.
Really?
Well, I think so.
Better than the real estate.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I want to know the gossip.
That's nice.
What did he say? Does that feel good?
Yeah, really nice. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect.
What do you want product in there?
Nah, all good.
Your curls look nice.
No, I know. I'll
show you the back too.
The curls for me, because when I was a kid, I had curly hair.
I fucking love curly hair.
Growing up, I like the curls too. Yeah, that's perfect. I want to keep the back a bit long.
It is long. It was just long through the middle, so I just laid it in. Yeah.
Nah, I love it. Yeah. I love it, everyone.
He loves it.
That's a little shout out to Benson's and Co Barbers.
There's one Benson, not Benson's.
Tall thing, the thing. Where am I? Here I am.
Babe.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll wrap up today's episode. Lil, thanks so much, mate, for having me in. Hopefully you guys can sit back and have a wine and enjoy, just listen to us talk rubbish. If you want to get a haircut, male, female, boy, girl, whatever you are, the doors here are open. Are they not?
Yeah.
What's the website? Give yourself a little plug. I'm assuming it's bensonsandcobarbers.com.
I think it's bensonandco.com.
Cool. There's the website, guys. You can book online. Otherwise, don't message them on Instagram because I think that would get annoying. So don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. This is Bailey Talks. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.